It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today with another Raid Shadow Legends Champion Guide. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you here. Send some positive vibes your way today. Today, we're going to look at a champion that used to really be underwhelming slash kind of suck, right? And now he actually has a use in the game, so I thought it would be a fantastic time to talk about Gory. Gory is a very cool looking, kind of a freaky looking champion, no? No lore on this champion. I'm trying to find champions to review early on here with a little bit of lore, because again, I do find it, what I want to do, I should say, on the channel is really go in depth and give you everything there is to know, right, about a specific champion. So that's what we're going to do here today with Gory. Unfortunately, though, no lore to share with you guys. But what does this dude do? First of all, you can see what he doesn't do, and that's move fast. He's got a 90 base speed and an 859, so he's squishy, not a lot of HP either, so tough to keep alive, and very slow. So we're not off to a great start here. So why are we talking about this dude? Well, Cold Comfort on his A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. He gets an extra hit if the target is under a freeze debuff, heals his champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. So really not an A1 that jumps out of the page at us. On the A2, Frost Jutsu attacks 3 times at random on a 3-turn cooldown. Each hit has a 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. You guys can already see this is why this champion has had a skyrocket in value increase. On every hit, we're landing 100% freeze. We're going against the same target. We're going to get that great turn meter manipulation against that reduction against the new Fire Knight on Fire Knight Hard. So, hey, a champion that previously just really sucked, and now he's very niche, let's put it that way. You can be the judge on whether or not he's good. Frost Breaker's A3 on a 3-turn cooldown attacks one enemy. Ignore increased defense and shield buffs. Will also ignore 50% of the target's defense if they're under a freeze debuff. Place a counterattack and an increased attack buff on the champion for 2 turns if the attack kills an enemy. And on the passive, Dignity, no cooldown, counterattacks with Cold Comfort, which is the A1. Whenever an enemy places a stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, true fear, or petrification debuff on an ally. His base attack is pretty good. I do want to go ahead and before I show you the build, let me pull up his multipliers here. So massive credit to hellhades.com here where I'm pulling up this guide. You guys can go ahead and take a look at yourself, for yourself, excuse me, as well. Champion rating is 3 stars. Pretty awful reviews across the board. Decent review in Dark Fae. 3 out of 10 book priority. But really, this is not accounting for the new Fire Knight. His damage multiplier is a 1.8 godlike ranking on his A1. The 3-time hitter is a 2.1 per hit, which is a weak overall rating. And then he has a 5.6, a strong overall multiplier and damage rating here on the A3 ability. So not bad on the multipliers. I don't have him built to be a massive damage dealer in today's video, though. And here's the team I'm going to be using him with, by the way, just so you can give you context, because context is important, right? Skull Crusher for the counterattack to get that shield down for the Fire Knight. Tomb Lord to do damage on poisons. Arbiter for a speed booster reviver. And then you Carl to help on the waves, and he has freeze as well, okay? So again, the most important part of his kit here is that 3-time freeze, 100% land rate. It's a really cool ability for this particular use case. I want to say, though, I have him in triple perception. The build that I think I like a little bit better is going to be a reflex set and a perception set on this champion. So I could switch the gear up right now, but I think I'm just going to tell you, and hopefully that resonates. The reason being is because I think the best way to build this champion is to shut off his A3 Frostbreaker, and then put on Reflex. That Reflex 40% chance to reduce the cooldown of a random skill is going to proc on the A2 ability, and then we get more chances at a triple hitter and or freezes for turn meter control on the Fire Knight, okay? And on the A3, we don't need counter, well, we're not going to be killing an enemy anyway. I would just shut off the A3, honestly. I would probably shut off the A3 no matter what on this champion if you're using him for Fire Knight Hard, which again would be my suggestion. It's the best use case in in this champion. The other thing that I want to share with you guys is if you are building this champion for damage, maybe you're using him as a DPS in Faction Wars. Obviously, in that use case, we're definitely going to get crit rate or crit damage on our gauntlets here. Right now, I'm focusing mainly on survivability because the Fire Knight hits incredibly hard. So even though our base defense and HP are very low, we're still doing everything we can to raise them. So long story short, I'm not building him as a damage dealer today. Hence the no 100% crit rate, not a lot of crit damage. Instead, I'm focusing on accuracy and speed, hence the triple perception set, right, to get us there. I would, again, recommend focusing on accuracy and speed, getting them as high as you possibly can, and then if you have the gear, reflex available, and right now there's a free artifact switch up event right now. You don't have to pay silver. It's a miracle. So take advantage maybe at a time like this. But I would actually, if you can get the speed and the accuracy high enough, we're aiming for hard dungeons. We're aiming for around 350 to 400 accuracy, depending on the stage. So I would focus on that with reflex if you can do it. If not, just go perception. You're going to be okay. Let's go ahead and build the masteries together on this champion. So obviously we want accuracy. So I'm going to go support tree. That's going to be a no-brainer for me. So charge focus, swarm smiter, pinpoint accuracy. We're going to pick up lore of steel because again, we have the triple perception on this champion. We have no need for sniper on this champion. We have no need for master hexer on this champion. So I'm just going to go spirit haste for lack of another alternative. I do want that term decrease the target's turn meter when this champion hits them for the default skill for the first time, just in case, you know, depending on where I'm going to be using this champion in other areas. Again, Faction Wars, I don't really see that, but you never know. Deadly Precision, the reason it's not going to matter against the Fire Knight is because he's going to have his shield up anyway, but Deadly Precision, you know, again, we don't have him built out for a lot of damage, but I still think the wisest path, especially because we don't really need retribution. We're going to have counterattack on the team. Again, guys, we always say this on Masteries here on the channel, but it's important to restate from time to time that use Masteries that make sense for your team. Even if you're a new player, take the time to actually read and think about the Masteries. Never just blindly copy them from the internet or from YouTube. It's not a shot at anybody out there, even content creators, even myself, right? But like, there's a lot of websites that I look at the mastery suggestions, and they're really, like, there's a lot of masteries that just don't make any sense for some champions, right? And I'm sure some of my old videos, like on my main channel years ago, I'm sure that you'd find plenty of stuff that I look at even. I'm like, dude, what was I thinking on that recommendation, you know? So just keep that in mind, right? So always just read through and just think about it. Just take a moment. And then next thing you know, because they can, at least for me, in the beginning of masteries in this game, I was like, dude, there's so much. It's kind of confusing. I'm never going to learn all this stuff, like what goes with what champion. And then all it took was like a couple weeks of me just reading all the masteries, and I'm like, okay, I think I get a pretty good feel for what I'm looking at. Anyway, so those are the masteries. We talked about the skills. I talked about the build. I didn't show you the artifacts. Let me show you them really quickly here. We have accuracy on the banner. Obviously, that's really imperative here. We have HP on the amulet. We have defense on the ring. And then we have speed, obviously, on the boots. We have defense percentage on the chest. We have defense percentage on the gauntlets as well. And we're looking for speed and accuracy as substats, obviously, as I've mentioned, you know, ad nauseum here on the stat priorities. Guys, let's go ahead and take him into Fire Knight with this squad and see what we can do. All right, guys, let's go with stage 4 because it is a Force Affinity matchup. Obviously, Force and Void and Spirit are going to be the best for this champion. I already told you about the team. Here we go. Let's go in for it. I don't need to go in there with the team setup and mess around with anything too much right now because, again, he's not in that reflex set. If he was, I would shut off that A3 ability, okay? So again here, I'm probably just going to leave you guys and come back at the Fire Knight when he's around half health or so, maybe like 25% health, because I do anticipate this to be a fairly long run. Fire Knight is just takes, I feel like the new Fire Knight is by far the most difficult of all the dungeons, but we'll see him shine with that turn meter on the A2 ability in just a moment here. Again, not too much in the way of customization or anything special about this champion in this particular build. So I'll be right back in a little bit. We'll see how he does against the Fire Knight, guys. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have the shield down right now. Things are looking pretty good. Not the fastest run known to man, that's for sure, but this is a hard Fire Knight, man. It's next level hard. But Carl and Gory doing a fantastic job keeping that shield down as long as humanly possible. Now, Gory in this build, not putting out a ton of damage, but still respectable in a million, but most importantly, with the control there off of that freeze. Yakarl doing a good job on the waves, getting most of his damage on the AoE, and then Tomb Lord, of course, doing the majority of the damage to the actual Fire Knight here with his poisons on Fire Knight hard. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this guide of Gory. Definitely a champion that I was never really high on, frankly. And look at that, dude. Seriously. Rare gauntlets, man. Rare gauntlets, 5-star. I already complained about this, but I'm doing it again. From a hard dungeon, man. They should not drop 5-star rares, man. No way! Where's the mythicals? Anyway, guys, a champion that I was not previously high on at all, but at least now he has a use case in the game. I hope you've enjoyed today's guide on Gory. Pretty interesting champion. Let me know what you think of him in the comments below, and if you have another champion, again, that you want to recommend, go ahead and let me know as well. Try to make it happen as soon as possible here on the channel. Just be patient with me because we do get a lot of requests. Thank you for watching till the end of the video, guys, and as always, take care, guys.